the middle of the wetness. So that's a positive already today. No excess moisture involved in the program. Moisture can be very dangerous. It can hurt electronic equipment, certainly. Now, numerous things to get into on today's show. There's one major happening that I'm trying to wrap my mind around that involves Ariel. Ariel, please join me right away here. We need to get this out into the open and discuss this before we go on radio. Ariel informed me that last night she went to a pole dancing event.
Yes, it was a class.
A class.
Uh-huh.
Now, what on earth? I mean, you're a preacher's daughter.
I am.
You're a preacher's daughter, and you went to a pole dancing thing. Now, what did you go to?
Okay, so pretty much it's a fitness class. There was nothing sexual or nasty about it, okay? That's the stigma, and I was trying to break that stigma. That's what made me go and find out about it, and it'll be up in my blog later on today.
Pole dancing started as something nasty.
Yes, and now it could possibly go to the Olympics.
The origin, the Olympics?
Yes, in fact, they have a petition right now to get it into the Olympics. They have like all these conferences centered around the fitness. Like it takes a lot of, my entire upper body is sore right now from yesterday.
Okay.
From one workout.
Right. What did your family think about this?
My mother declined to comment. My father doesn't know.
Okay. And your dad never watches this, so he won't know
No.
from this.
No, and I don't plan on ever having this conversation with him.
Okay. All right. So now were the people dressed in like bikinis or things like that?
No,
Or how?
no. Everybody had pretty much on workout clothes. Of course, they wore shorts because like the elastic tights, they don't grip the pole as well. So they had on shorts, but other than that, everybody was fully clothed. No clothes came off. It looked like a regular day at the gym.
So you're gonna put this on your blog later today.
Yes, it will be up later today.
TheBeatOfMobile.com. People will be able to see your pole dancing class.
Yes, it was fun.
Now
It was fun. In fact, I have a membership now.
So
Every
you've got a
Monday and
membership.
Wednesday.
Now you've joined it.
Yes.
It's a group you've joined.
It's a group that I've joined. I am going to have the greatest arms in America.
Now is there going to be video?
Yes, there's video.
Video of you.
Video. No, because I'm like these women. You had to see them the way that they were like upside down and spinning around, and it was amazing. So I'm going to learn all of these things. I'm no good at it. But I even got a chance to talk to the owner of the studio and just kind of get her input on how she started it and why.
That is really. Was it a big class or a lot of people involved in this?
No, it was about 3 girls plus me, so that was 4 women there, and then the owner. Very small class.
Okay. All right. This is I'm uncomfortable with this because of the you mentioned that the stereotype of it is that it originated as a filthy, nasty activity.
Right.
To provoke lust in males.
Right.
And it's traditionally we've been very fearful of our young women getting near the pole.
Right.
And now it's been flipped into something different. It's now a fitness, some type of semi-wholesome fitness activity.
Right. That could possibly go to the Olympics one day.
All right. It's a new world in which we live. All right, Ariel, I'll have more questions about this later.
Okay.
Okay. Ariel going to a pole dancing class. All right, stand by. The radio show is about to start.
Psalm 118:24, King James Version. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. New International Version. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Wake up! Wake up, everybody! Wake up!
Message deleted. Hey, man, what's your schedule? I know you probably ain't got no 4 hours no more, but I'm going to get up one day we can try and hear some of your show. Just a little bit. I told you your next move is out the door.
Message deleted.
Well, whatever will be, will be. And that's all you need is a little bit of the Uncle Henry Show. The Uncle Henry Show underway. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. What a wonderful day it is. Wherever you may be, I'm guessing if you're able to take this show or want to take this show, you're in a pretty good situation. You've got radio, television, or internet access, and you speak English. Those are big pluses in the world. No offense to the non-English speaking, non-internet, non-TV, non-radio people. Here we are. One of the big stories of the day that you'll hear a lot about if you pay attention to news is, will the United States pull out of the Paris Climate Accords? President Trump campaigned promising to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accords. And now that's what we're hearing. Will we do it? Will we pull out? What will the ramifications be? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Now, I am self-centered, and I apologize for that, but I'm self-centered in that I'm wondering, what will this mean to me if we pull out? Will there be a day in the next few weeks where I walk out and the atmosphere is clogged with some type of carbon emissions, and I'll drop to my knees, unable to gasp, just gasping for breath, unable to breathe? Or will the weather, will a tornado erupt in my backyard because of some type of climate change? What will happen? Will the sun be blotted out by smoke? What will happen? What will the impact be on me personally if we pull out of the Paris Climate Accord? I don't know. Nobody's told me yet. Will the ice caps melt, and then the sea levels will rise, and I'll have to live in a house on stilts? If somebody could explain all of this to me, then maybe I could get. I'm not worked up about it. I'm not really worked up about whether or not we pull out.
Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Well, this is the day that the entrance ramp to eastbound I-10 from Water Street shovels off into the history books. The ramp is being permanently closed for a new, safer ramp that's been set up at Texas Street. This changeover is expected to happen around noon today. No big accidents or breakdowns on the board now. If you're traveling on I-10, cross the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway, and the Bankhead. That remains in good shape as well. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Southern Cancer Center Weather Center.
More wet weather on the way. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. The morning starts off relatively dry, most of us dry, but by mid-morning and into early afternoon, we're looking at lots of showers and thunderstorms. Rain chances 70% with a high in the mid-80s and high humidity. We've got more of this kind of weather in store tomorrow and the next day and the next.
Hey there. This is Dr. Vanessa Marie Perry, the host of the Love Right Unplugged podcast on iHeartRadio, where we interview the top relationship experts, coaches, matchmakers, therapists, and couples. The podcast provides advice, tips, and inspiration to singles and couples on how to develop and maintain a healthy relationship. Check us out weekly. Search for Love Right Unplugged on iHeartRadio.
Your home for traffic and weather on the nines every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Hey, Nick Saban, I got a message for you, Nick Saban. Listen.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. You can also watch on the CW55 weekday mornings between 5 and 7. And also on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. Video always there. The local weekly publication of Mobile, Lagniappe, has come out with their final ballot for the 2017 NAPPY Awards. And if you like the show, go to votenappies.com and you'll look in the media categories and you'll find a few opportunities to vote for me in a few different categories. So if you like the show, go to votenappies.com and cast your vote for me. If you don't like the show, then think about it a little while. You don't necessarily need to vote right away. You can ponder it. Think about it. That's at votenappies.com. I believe that it is, I've been set up in the awards. They have several opportunities to, several people in each category, and they always put me last in each category. In fact, in the print edition, they've got them lettered A, B, C, D, E, F, and I'm always F. If you vote for me, it's the letter F. That's the way it reads in the newspaper part of it. Which an F, not a good letter psychologically. If you're going to school and they write that letter on your paper, then that signifies that you're a failure, that you're either not bright or you haven't tried hard enough, that you're inadequate. And they've associated me with the letter F in the print. I believe this is probably some type of psychological attack. You've heard the word psyops, where people try to get in your head. I believe this is psychologically being done toward me, and also to subliminally influence the voters so that they'll see the letter F near my name, and they will subconsciously equate me with failure, inadequacy, low effort, all of the negatives that go with the letter F. Not to mention that one of the worst words in all of the history of language is associated with the letter F, and it's called the F word. So this is really, for me to win any category would be an astonishing miracle at this point, because they put me last and they've associated me with the letter F. But look, it is what it is. You can help turn that around. So if you're a fan of the show, votenappies.com, find me in the media categories and vote for me. If you're not a fan of the show, then think about it a little bit more. Maybe you don't even need to participate. I'm just saying maybe you've got better things to do than vote in one of those things. But if you're a fan of the show, you know you need to do it to offer some minor support to the program. And there's something else in the new issue of Lagniappe that I need to tell you about. We'll get to that as the show continues. The Uncle Henry Show.
There's no such thing as chemical weapons.
The Sean Hannity Show.
Listen.
Assad got rid of his chemical weapons.
Today at 2.
It's a message.
Get the message. News Radio 710. WNTM.
Uncle Henry here with John McNeil of McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. John, what sets McNeil Aarons Lambert apart from other financial firms?
Uncle Henry, first and foremost, we have been here for over 93 years. Our firm was started by my grandfather in 1922, and we have helped multiple generations for many families. When we put a financial plan in place for a family, we will be there to see it through. We also take the time to make sure our clients know what, why, and how their plan is working. We are always there to answer any questions they may have.
Now, I've heard you say that you're independent. What does that really mean to be independent?
That's right, Uncle Henry. We are independent, which means we can do what is best for our clients, not what is best for a company we work for. We work for our clients, not some Wall Street firm or insurance company.
You can call McNeil Aarons Lambert at 666-5000. That's 666-5000. You'll find them online at malfinancial.com. That's malfinancial.com.
Hey, if your AC goes out in this hot Gulf Coast weather, call Bachelor Service Heating and Air. They'll get your house back to cool in no time with a prompt visit from one of their NATE certified technicians. Their website is bachelorservice.com, certification number 17070.
If you know the value of good machines, then it's high time we got together. We're Bailey Industrial, builders of metal and woodworking equipment, hard-working machines for hard-working people. We stand behind our equipment and make sure our equipment stands behind you, offering you the after-sale support you need to keep your shop running smoothly, which means making sure you have what you need when you need it, typically shipping within 72 hours or less. So whether you're a fabricator or manufacturer of metal or wood products, go to Bailey.com or call 920-MACHINE and we'll send you a catalog. That's right, friend, over 4.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to Defy is the mission statement of the CW55. So, and that sounds like hard work to me. Congratulations to the CW55, and thank you to the CW55 for putting the Uncle Henry Show on broadcast television in this experiment. We'll be back on the radio in just a moment. Right now it's me and you and Ariel, and we've got a caller waiting. We'll go to the caller when we go back on the radio. Ariel, please join me here. In the last segment of the program, I was talking about the NAPPY Awards. And Ariel, you did not get nominated in the local DJ category.
Hey, there's always next year.
There is always next year. Actually, you went on the air in, I guess, at the end of September into October.
Right.
So
here in September and over there at the beginning of November.
In the beginning of November. So you haven't had many months to build the following there.
Correct.
But you're right. There's always next year. Yeah. There's always next year. And there's a category that I think is really an outrageous thing to put in Lagniappe, and that's the radio people that their voice makes you want to see them naked.
Yes, that's my favorite category.
Well, it's not now, but it really is a nasty category.
And you're nominated.
I am nominated, which see, that's how we know this is a scam. Because
no, this is not a scam, and I encourage people to go vote.
No, you don't. No,
especially for that category.
Not in reality. No one wants to do that.
You'd be surprised.
I don't think I would be.
I think you would.
I don't think I would be. It's worse for the females, for the women to be put out there publicly as potential naked people. The objectification of females.
Yeah, but we generally kind of think guys think dirty anyway, so, it's not really that much of a shocker.
Okay.
Nasty little minds.
All right, well, and a lot of these women are older. In fact, a lot of the women that are nominated in that category, at least things are shifting, and they're not all young women. There are older women that are being dragged into the filth along with the young women. I don't know. I don't believe that's progress. Some people might see it as progress. I don't believe it is.
But you can still have it all the way up until your dying day.
Right. Well, yeah. Look at Cher. Yeah. Right. Well, thank you, Ariel. Checking in with her again later in the next half hour. We'll get more into Ariel's new fitness routine. All right. Stand by. We go back to radio. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Such a wonderful, wonderful part of the country we live in. Let's talk to Jill. Hello, Jill. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I've already had a great smile on my face from the beginning of your show. Thank you. I want to tell you, when I got up this morning, I did my normal routine, and then I got to thinking, I've had some horrible things going on. So today I'm going to just take those lemons and make lemonade, and then you come up with this nappy. I haven't voted, but I will vote, and I'm going to vote for you.
Thank you.
I want you to take that F and think about fabulous, fantastic, and all the F words, good words. And because, you know, I'm 75, I've got a little bit of flab on my arms, but it's fabulous flab. I've earned it. And I'm, you know, I try to look good, and you're one of my heroes. Okay.
Now, what for? All I've managed to do is show up on time. That's about the only effort into what I'm doing is showing up.
Well, that's all right. You're there, and you know you're on top of your game. You make my day. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, Jill. High praise. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to have to figure out what my game is. The showing up on time game. Ariel and I are both in a job where when you don't show up on time, a lot of people find out rapidly. They find out rapidly. There was a time many years ago, this would have been maybe 25, 30 years ago. I was working with a partner, and I overslept. And I awakened and drove in to work as quickly as I could. And on my way into work, I could hear the person that I worked with on the air saying, if anyone has seen Henry, please call the station. They put out a bulletin for me on my way in. So that trained me to show up. So that's really all that's happening here. Now, speaking of Lagniappe, the website lagniappemobile.com, and to vote for this show, votenappies.com. Rob Hulbert writes a column that is his opinion, and he's written a column this week about former Mobile Mayor Sam Jones. Is he running for mayor? Now, there's been a Facebook page set up that looks like Sam Jones is running for mayor. But Sam Jones has not come out and said officially that he's running for mayor of Mobile again. But in the column, the Rob Hulbert column that you can read at lagniappemobile.com, Rob Hulbert says people in the know, people behind the scenes that are in the know, are all saying that yes, indeed, Sam Jones is going to run for mayor. You don't have to declare until like the middle of July, and then Mobile votes toward the end of August. And so Sam Jones going to declare in July and then run a month for mayor. The mayor of Mobile, Standy Simpson, already has raised an enormous amount of money. If money matters in a local election like this, I guess money always does matter, but when it comes to this type of thing, you never, I don't know that I understand any election after the last several elections we've seen. But that's for you to find and consider in Lagniappe, lagniappemobile.com. Read the Rob Hulbert. It is his opinion. There's a lot of his opinion in the column, but he does say that people in the know are telling him that Sam Jones is going to run for mayor. Are you in the know? Ariel, do you think you're in the know? Because I'm not. You're in the know. Really? Well, then come on the air and tell me something. Tell me what you know about. Ariel, what are you in the know about? Do you know anything about anything that we need to know?
I know some things about the things, but you have to ask me what it is that you want to know so that I can tell you the things.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Are you in the know about Mobile politics?
I generally try to stay out of those, but I know a little bit.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Do you know anything about Sam Jones running for mayor?
Well, I probably know the same thing you know, that for now it seems to be rumor.
Okay. All right. So I need to, but you are in the know, but I need to figure out what you're in the know about in order to ask you the right question.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you, Ariel. Ariel's in the know. We don't know what about, but she's in the know. Now, there was a time in my life when I was in the know, and I found out that I didn't enjoy being in the know. It's not all it's cracked up to be. You think you want to be in the know, and then you find out that you don't like what you know. And then you wished you didn't know. I've made the decision, I don't want to be in the know. Those of you in the know, don't try to pull me into the know. I'm opting out of the know. All right, look, there's a lot more. We've got several more hours in order to earn our paychecks. More in a moment.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
All right, so the breathless anti-Trump alt-left mainstream media, they're at it again. So this time they're bringing you, the American people, their hard-hitting analysis of a typo on Twitter by the president. Newsbuster reports, well, at midnight, May 31st, the president tweeted, despite the constant negative press, and he spells it C-O-V-F-E-F-E. Most people, including journalists, they all make typos. The media pounced on just the morning shows of ABC, NBC, CBS. There was a baffling 10 minutes of coverage speculating about what Trump meant by writing and misspelling a word. What is wrong with all of you people if you misspell a word on Twitter? Relax. Do you ever hear of autocorrect? Jeez, good grief.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
I had to see it for myself. Upside.com really saves you a ton of money on business travel, and they give you a big gift card every single time you travel. I went on a trip recently, used Upside.com. In less than 2 minutes, I was able to save money, and I got a gift card for $200. Now go to Upside.com, use the promo code Hannity, and you get $100 guaranteed an Amazon gift card just for your first trip. You'll save big on travel, get a big gift card every single trip. Upside.com.
Minimum purchase required. See site for complete details. Finding great people to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's time to try ZipRecruiter, where 80% of jobs get a qualified candidate in just one day. How? Using powerful technology, ZipRecruiter matches your job to the right candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life is the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. Radio listener hearing traffic, weather, news from Fox, news from WKRG. Let's take a moment to listen to our weather forecast.
Romero.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Southern Cancer Center Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. More wet weather in store for today. A 70% rain chance before the day is done. Some thunderstorms in the mix as well. It just continues this soggy weather pattern we've had over the past several days. In between the showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a high in the mid-80s.
This report is...
All right, thank you very much to John Nodar for the weather forecast. We'll be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Today, we talked about this a lot yesterday on the show, that we have a ramp closing, an interstate ramp in Mobile. Now, you watching in the Chumuckla community of Florida or the Wallace community, you probably don't understand why this is so exciting. But the ramp has had people merging onto I-10 at the worst place you could ever merge, at the mouth of a tunnel, and we're closing that today, and what a blessing it will be. So I'll continue to be excited about it. Let me see if our traffic guy mentioned it in his traffic report. Bear with me here. I want to do an instant replay of our traffic guy.
Well, there's not much out there at this early stage of the morning drive. If you're traveling I-10 coming in across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway.
Right, he's not mentioning it there. Maybe he's saving it for some fun. All right, we do have a caller. Hang on, and we'll get to you when we go back on the radio. Today is the beginning of hurricane season. Now, each hurricane season that we go through without a storm, I'm glad, of course, very glad. Don't like them. I know some people that love the excitement of the tropical weather, and they just get giddy with it. I'm not one of those people. I don't want trees on my house or in the road. I don't want to be blown away. I don't want to be storm surged. I don't like the hurricanes. I think that each year that we go by without a storm, which I'm glad we don't have them, it gets more dangerous because people forget. People forget to take it seriously. Now, Ariel is showing you the names of the storms. Whatever methods they're using to pick these names, they need to rethink it. A Hurricane Cindy? You need to be, the names need to be intimidating names so that psychologically you'll take it seriously. Almost like in wrestling. You don't want Hurricane Cindy. Sounds like it'll come in and blow flower petals around your house or something. Put potpourri, just little swirls of potpourri. That's Hurricane Cindy and Hurricane Tammy. These are not good. These names, they've got to figure out different names for these hurricanes. And Gert, G-E-R-T, Hurricane Gert. These names, they just need to rethink this. This is not good marketing. The hurricanes are like everything else. They need to be marketed properly. And if you want people to take them seriously and to pay attention to the news, you shouldn't give them cute little, these names are Hurricane Harvey. Terrible. I don't know what the answer is, but they need to come up with new ways to name hurricanes. This is just not acceptable to have a Hurricane Cindy. All right, and plus for people that really have these names, and there's a storm that has their name that causes horrible destruction. People are going to have psychological ramifications from their name being associated with death and destruction. So we need a different, I don't know what the answer is, but there needs to be something other than naming. We need to stop naming hurricanes after Cindy and Tammy and Gert. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to the radio and take a phone call and enjoy our time together on the Uncle Henry Show.
With Mark? You can. Join him on Facebook, facebook.com/Mark Merrill. Family tips, great insight, and a sneak peek into Mark's life as a husband, father, and leader.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Quite a day. We have the closing of the Water Street ramp there at the mouth of the Wallace Tunnel in Mobile. This is an exciting day for Mobilians to have that ramp closed, a thorn out of the paw. And then we've got a hurricane season starting today. Today's the first day in final voting for the NAPI Awards. So many things going on today. June 1. May is over. Where did May go? Let's talk to JP. Hello, JP.
Hey, good morning to you and all, Uncle.
JP!
Tell me, if you like polkas half as much as I like them, you will enjoy this can you bear with one or enjoy one?
Polka music. We need more polka music.
Yes. We're going to jack it up here a little bit so everybody can hear it.
Uncle Henry Show.
We ask the good Lord, the one who created heaven and earth, to preserve us from all the bad weather that we might otherwise have. Hope you all have a wonderful day. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. This is called, that last one was called Liechtenstein Polka. This is Beer Barrel Polka, which is, I think it's well known among us old fogies.
This is the Uncle Henry Show. Polka music's still popular in some parts of the country, believe it or not.
One of my favorites is Pennsylvania Polka, which we'll play at another time. Uncle, may the good Lord bless and keep you and all your listeners in the entire world, and may the Lord bless in a special way those who are homebound, those who are suffering. God bless you all. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
There he goes, JP. Thank you, JP, for bringing polka music onto the program. Of course, this show is seen for now on the CW55, and my great loyalty for now is to the CW55. But I will reveal to you that there's another cable channel called RFD TV that is set up for rural farmers. It exists. I've got it on my cable system. And RFD TV, several times a week, they have polka TV shows. And these are not old shows. There are people that are still alive today that perpetuate polka music. So if you have a yearning for polka television, you can find it on the RFD channel. Now, I say that theoretically. I've seen it listed. I'll admit that I've never watched it. One day, if I'm ever very ill, I may have time to watch polka television, but I'm not yet ill enough. All right, more show to come. Stick with the Uncle Henry Show, please.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Audi Traffic Center.
Well, there's not much out there at this early stage of the morning drive. If you're traveling I-10, coming in across the Bayway through the Wallace Tunnel, Causeway, and the Bankhead, and the drive on I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw to the I-10, you're moving along well. We're seeing light volume out there and no big problems at this very early hour. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. The future is bleak for a child living in poverty. No school, no dreams, no hope. But you can change all that when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Just a little more than $1 a day brings hope. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
First alert weather from WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
More wet weather on the way. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. The morning starts off relatively dry. Most of us dry, but by mid-morning and into early afternoon, we're looking at lots of showers and thunderstorms. Rain chances 70% with a high in the mid-80s and high humidity. We've got more of this kind of weather in store tomorrow and the next day and the next.
Listen to News Radio 710 WNTM anywhere on iHeartRadio.
Never miss a riff. TK101, the rock station.
You're home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Oh, sometimes I got to release a little frustration myself, and this is what I do as long as nobody else is in the shop with me.
Press 4. Message deleted.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show. News coming up in less than 20 minutes from Fox and from WKRG. Ariel, if you would please join me here on the radio. Before we get back into current events and discussions of current events,
Okay.
I want to talk to Ariel here because Ariel revealed to me this morning that last night she went to a fitness class. Now, please tell the listener the fitness class that you went to last night.
It's called pole fitness. Doesn't even say pole dancing because there was not, in fact, I think there was absolutely no dancing involved. But it's kind of the idea of using the pole that generally it has, you know, the stipulation that this is for strippers and this is nasty and this is, you know, kind of provocative, but it wasn't.
All right, look, again, now you summed it up there in that what kind of pole is it? It's a stripper pole.
It isn't, though.
It's a stripper pole.
This was a fitness pole. There is a difference.
A fitness pole.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a very, very skilled art. Like there are gloves that come along with this, and you know techniques, and they even have a certain like paste that goes on your hand, so that you can actually grip the pole and do the fitness correctly.
What, they have stripper paste?
It is not stripper paste because you cannot buy it at a nasty store.
All right, so you have gloves and paste.
Yes.
And then what do you do on the pole?
It kind of depends. A lot of it involves like upper body workouts, and it's crazy because it's almost like lifting weights, except you're lifting your body weight for the resistance that you would get when you lift actual dumbbells. My arms are so sore this morning; it's not even funny.
Right, Ariel, again, this started out as this was all about strippers. They were just grabbing onto a pole,
traditionally
leaning on the pole while they're taking their clothes off.
Nobody took their clothes off
and
last night.
Shaking their body parts at various men that were there lusting and cheating in their hearts and who knows what else.
Exactly.
And
but that was not this class. There were no men present. There were only women. Everybody's clothes stayed on. In fact, it looked like a regular day at the gym. Nobody was dressed provocatively. There was no shaking of body parts, no wiggle butt going on. Everybody was fully clothed and just using their body weight to lift themselves up and spin themselves around, maybe even turn themselves upside down. There was nothing sexual or provocative about this class.
All right, but but understand that you're the preacher's daughter.
Right,
and
which is why we cannot discuss this with my father.
And the congregation will whisper to themselves, did you know that the preacher's daughter is on the pole? And it's going to be,
But they'll have the story all wrong.
All right, this is very tricky. This is a very tricky thing. Now,
it is, because until you explain to people that this is a fitness class and this is not about being nasty or sexual, they will assume that that's what this is about. But no, again, I had on a t-shirt. Do you know any strippers that wear a t-shirt?
I don't know any strippers.
Neither do I, but
right,
I'm going to assume they don't wear t-shirts.
All right, look. People can find out later today. You're going to have video up at your website, thebeatofmobile.com.
Correct.
Thebeatofmobile.com. You can read about Ariel's experiences, and she will have video. I'm going to trust Ariel that no naked women are going to be in her video about the pole.
The Glenn Beck program introduces a new eve. The eve of global war. Celebrate with your family and friends. Today at 5, News Radio 710, WNTM.
Hey, what are we talking about this time, Bess?
Shelby, we're talking about fun families and new houses.
Okay.
I met with a darling family this week. 2 professional parents and 3 children under 8.
Ooh, sounds like they're very busy.
That's right, Dan. And that's exactly why they need a living room that'll love and hug on them and their family and friends.
Friends, too?
Of course, Mary, friends, too.
Everybody wants that, don't
That's
they?
right, Uncle Henry.
Okay, and you can do that for all our listeners?
Shelby, that's what we do, and you know what else we're doing?
What else are you doing?
Let me give you a hint.
Okay.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
The 36-hour sale.
That's right. Help is on the way with our 36-hour sale with prices so low you won't need to shop no more.
So it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show.
Only 36 hours left to go.
And we can make your listeners' homes rock around the clock while we save them a whole lot of money today.
That lazy boy.
Tick-tock,
tick-tock,
tick-tock.
tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Here with Ron of Mobile Bay Coins. Ron, I asked Angelo why people collect coins, and he came up with some weird theory about how people are hunter-gatherers. Now, what's your take on that?
I believe Angelo is a hunter-gatherer. I mean, I would have liked to have him in my tribe while I was sitting there maybe knitting something in camp and make sure I had the best example of whatever I was knitting, just like somebody was collecting those. Angelo, the big guy, would have been out hunting and bringing back the bullion or something else, but I would have helped everybody in the tribe right there that stayed back to spend all the money we made on the items that Angelo hunted and collected on coins with eye appeal, investment-grade items. At the end of the day, Angelo's pile would be a lot bigger, but mine would contain items probably worth that much or more in much less space. So I like to help people hunt and gather items, but be able to store their investment portfolio in much smaller location, storage area.
Oh, no, this is over my head. All right, we're back. We're back here on the CW55, Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life, the mission statement of the CW55. Thank you, CW55, for putting the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. Ariel and I are both going to be out in the community today. I'm going to be at SAD Healthcare on University Boulevard today from 9 until 10, sadhealthcare.com, SAAD. Ariel, join me here. So now, are you going to be out at Metro PCS today?
No.
No.
So at the very last minute, they realized that no, the remote is not today. It was tomorrow. The beginning of the week, they said, oh, it's Friday. And then by Wednesday, they said, oh, wait, no, it's Thursday. And then they turned around yesterday afternoon and said, you know what? No, it is Friday. So it looks like it's going to be Friday.
So you're gonna be at Metro PCS tomorrow.
Yes, Metro PCS on Pleasant Valley.
Okay. All right. Well,
hopefully, because for all I know, it's actually Saturday.
Okay, we've
So
already
much of
had
this has changed.
John Sharp of AL.com is going to come in and be on the show sometime in the next 15 or 20 minutes. And John Sharp of AL.com has already tweeted about you being on the poll.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay. He doesn't
That
mention.
means he's listening, and
Yes,
he probably knows that pole fitness is a fitness class, nothing nasty.
Okay. Well, he is. He didn't mention you by name, but he is listening and used the topic in his tweet.
Wonderful.
Okay.
This is the topic for the masses.
Now, when people go to thebeatofmobile.com to see this, you're going to write about it and also have video of it?
Yes, I'll write about it. I have video, and I also have an interview from the owner of the studio that created the pole dancing classes for the Mobile area.
Okay. What's the name of the business?
Gemini Studios.
Okay, this was not a commercial for Gemini Studios.
This was not a commercial for Gemini Studios.
We're simply keeping it real. All right, Ariel, I'll be checking this out, thebeatofmobile.com. I hope I will not be scandalized by it. It's exercise. I've noticed that in order to get people interested in exercise, they try to come up with new things to spark your imagination. I saw something on Facebook about classes with giant drumsticks where you're pretending you play the drums. We can't exercise the old-fashioned way anymore. We've got to be tricked into it. All right, stand by. We're about to go back on radio.
But we go through the whole process again tomorrow. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Telephone number 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. This morning when I was going over the news with my dog, every morning before I come to work, I do spend some time in the recliner going over the news with my dog, and I saw a story on AL.com about a 101-year-old man getting his diploma. I think I saw it on AL.com. It was either AL.com or one of the local TV stations. 101-year-old man getting his diploma, high school diploma, and there were details about how he missed out on it as a younger man and has finally got his diploma. Now, it says, and it's okay. It was on. It might have been on 15 or WKRG. I can't remember where I saw it, but Montgomery area is where he got his diploma, high school diploma, age 101, and now he plans to go to college. He's going to go to the University of South Alabama and get a degree in music. Now, I guess when you're 100, now what is he going to use that when he graduates? What kind of a job is he going to be able to get? Now, I understand music is wonderful, the appreciation of music, the creation of music, but what kind? On a serious note, what kind of job is he going to be able to get with his music degree? This needs to be thought through. I had a coworker many years ago that went to college and racked up enormous student loans for a job that I think the top level in the job was only like $35,000 a year. So the math didn't work. It didn't make sense to go to college and spend all that money to get a degree that was only going to earn them a top of like 35. It was in social work type stuff, $35,000 a year. So where is the 101-year-old man going to get a job with his music degree? Just something he might want to think about. Of course, he's smarter than I am. He's a 101-year-old. But we've got to, if we're going to go and get a degree, we need to think about how are we going to be able to apply our degree in the workforce. Maybe he'll start a band. All right, let's see what else to get into on the program. I saw a list also this morning. Locally, we're always trying to attract tourists. It's been a big desire for several decades, especially in Mobile, on attracting tourists. I saw a list of major cities in the U.S. and all over the world that are openly anti-tourist. They've been big tourist destinations, and they're sick of tourists, and they don't want them anymore. One of them in the U.S. was Arlington, Texas. And I think that's where they've got a Six Flags, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently, the tourists have irritated the people there so much that the people that live there are openly anti-tourist. It's hard to imagine that. We want them so bad locally. We think of it as a clean industry, a great way to help the economy. Some places don't want the tourism. There were some islands in Thailand that were so upset. They have beautiful, very clear water in these islands, and many thousands of people go there to snorkel and scuba dive. And they're so upset with the tourists there, they have removed tourist facilities. And they've made it to where tour guides cannot operate there. Also, Amsterdam. Amsterdam now spends nothing to attract tourism. They've attracted so many partiers because of their various drug laws that they don't want the partiers anymore. So there are some places, believe it or not, that are sick of tourists and don't want them. Oh, Ariel, you have a list from USA Today. New Orleans is on the list? I don't believe that. I saw a different list. It's hard to believe. Because we worked locally, we want as many people to visit us as is possible, for them to spend money and then leave. And I was very surprised by Arlington, Texas, that has a Six Flags. I wonder if that'll happen in Foley. You know, Foley is getting its own amusement park that a lot of people are excited about. Maybe a few years of amusement park traffic will alter people's perceptions and attitudes. Time holds the answer, of course, and time will all know about that. Let's see. What else? One more quick thing that I saw. JetBlue, they're an airline. They're going to start a new boarding system where you'll be able to use a selfie to board the plane. They're going to have a situation where you can walk up and have your picture made, and then software will match your face to something in their database. Your picture will be your boarding pass. The only thing I don't like about that is I don't want in the future some thief to try and steal your face. All right. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. This is Uncle Henry. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, let me tell you about a great opportunity being offered by Dean McCrary Kia. It's called Test Drive 25. The first 10 people to test drive a car at Dean McCrary Kia every day this month get a $25 Visa gift card, no strings attached. You get to learn about the great deals and great vehicles like the Kia Optima, Kia Rio, and the new Kia Niro, while you also get the gift card. It's called Test Drive 25 with Dean McCrary Kia.
James from Metallica here. This is Lars. It's iHeartRadio.
Hi, this is Angus Young from AC/DC on iHeartRadio.
Open up the free iHeartRadio app right now and type in your favorite artist name to make a custom station based on all their biggest hits. Free!
Hey, this is Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top.
This is Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Download our free iHeartRadio app or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with Virginia McNeil of McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. Virginia, what's it like being a young lady in a profession that seems to be dominated by a bunch of old geezers like your dad and Ed Aarons?
Well, Uncle Henry, not to brag, but women do control 78% of the wealth in the U.S.
Really?
They sure do. But I feel I have an advantage. As you know, at McNeil Aarons and Lambert, we take a team approach to planning. And that's not only with our team, but that's with our clients, too. We want our clients to be a team together. We stress the importance of not only husbands being involved in the planning as traditionally, they traditionally are, but for the wives to be involved just as much as the husbands. We also stress that when clients come in, they get their kids involved in their plan as well. We want the kids to know what's going to happen when the parents get older and it gets later in life. So I'm there to relate with not only the women that come in, but also the younger generations.
You can find out more online, malfinancial.com, the telephone number 666-5000.
Your severe weather station. This is News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile, an iHeart radio station. 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile. 710.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listeners hearing traffic, weather, news from Fox, news from WKRG. We're waiting for John Sharp of AL.com to join us as a guest on the program. Before we go any further, let's listen to the weather.
WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. More wet weather in store for today. A 70% rain chance before the day is done. Some thunderstorms in the mix as well. It just continues this soggy weather pattern we've had over the past several days. In between the showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a high in the mid-80s.
Now. Okay, there is your weather forecast. Here we are. the beginning of another hour. No matter how badly the previous hour may or may not go, there's always hope for better. It's like the sunrise every hour. We get to forget what happened in the previous hour and move forward. Now, I'd mentioned to you in the last hour that I was looking at news, watching it, reading it before coming in, and I saw a business story. This is not a commercial for Little Caesars Pizza. I've always been really curious about how do they exist with their prices so low? They must be doing quite well, because I read a business story about how they refuse to get in delivery. The head of that company said they will never, ever get into pizza delivery. And it was explained, he explained that their customers, they target people that have low income. They're looking for extreme value, and those type customers are less likely to want delivery, and they're far less, they don't want to pay the tip. They'd rather get it and get it now. So I guess it's all volume. But now the reason this is interesting to me, they've got a $5 product plus tax. They vow they're never going to deliver. And yet now, at the same time, McDonald's is starting up delivery in different parts of the country. Ariel, did you hear about McDonald's starting up delivery? Yeah, they're going to do, now it's not going to happen nowhere in Alabama. Probably in some of the bigger cities in Florida, you'll have some delivery, but nowhere in Alabama are they going to do the delivery yet. Ariel, join me here briefly. Could you ever see getting McDonald's delivered?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because my son eats a lot of Happy Meals, and there are times where I don't actually feel like leaving the house to go buy a Happy Meal. So, yes, I would call McDonald's and ask them to deliver a Happy Meal to my door.
But see, that's the thing. It's not worth it to them to just bring one Happy. There's got to be a minimum order, I'm sure.
I'm paying them. They better shut up and bring me my food.
Now I forgot with a 2-year-old, you're in that zone. Mm-hmm. I would bet that most Americans have a very close relationship with those type of places like McDonald's when their kids are between the ages of 2 and say 7.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Those years,
Chick-fil-A.
That's like a 5-year period where whether you like it or not, you get sucked into that because of the convenience of it. The children seem to accept it. It's not a big fight. They get the little toy in the food. That's that 5-year window that you're all in on it.
See? So if McDonald's would deliver Happy Meals to my front door, then their delivery will be successful.
Okay. All right.
In Alabama.
Thank you, Ariel. I don't know. Little Caesars doesn't want to deliver because they've got a very low-priced product. Their business model works great the way they do it. I'm curious as to what McDonald's thinks they're going to gain. And I would be afraid. I just don't know. They need to make a TV show where they take cameras with the McDonald's delivery people so we can understand it. Because I'm sure it's not all parents with little children. All right, stand by. Radio show is underway again. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. The Uncle Henry Show. Hear it on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. You can watch weekday mornings between 5 and 7 on the CW55. Now, AOC.com reporter John Sharp is going to be on the program this hour. Ariel, Ariel, John Sharp has arrived. Could you now be careful? Don't get locked out the way I did the last time I tried to let somebody in the building. But John Sharp, Ariel is going to let John Sharp in the building. He's one of the few allowed in the building. We'll talk to him about the crossword puzzles and the different games in the press register. JohnSharpAvail.com. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for John Sharp to come up to the second floor, the big national and international news story today is, will the United States pull out of the Paris Accords, the climate change carbon emission thing? President Trump is going to talk about that later today. I'll have to admit some ignorance in that I'm trying to figure out how will it impact us in our own lives. And to be more specific and self-centered, I'm trying to figure out, how will this impact me personally? If we pull out of this thing in 2 years, am I going to gasp for breath because the air is so polluted? Or will global warming make it so that I'm burnt to a crisp? And what are and I hate to be self-centered about it, but really, what does it mean to me personally? Or is it something about the grandchildren? Do I have to worry about the grandchildren wearing extra sunscreen? That has not been adequately explained to me. I'm willing to listen, but it has not been adequately explained to me. What's the consequences of us pulling out of the Paris Climate Accords? So that's a thing that will continue through the day. And if President Trump in the afternoon pulls out, then we'll have at least a day, maybe a weekend of hyperventilation and panic on a global scale over all of that. All right, we're about to take a break. JohnSharpAvail.com has now entered the room. John Sharp, please assume the position in the guest chair. John Sharp hasn't been on the show in months, and he's now making his first television and radio appearance on the program. That's next on the Uncle Henry Show. Please stick with the show.
Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
It is not an exaggeration to say that lots of folks who take the entrance ramp from Water Street to eastbound I-10 sort of feel like they're taking their life into their hands. It's not a very safe ramp. It's very short. There's a big curve there, and beginning at noon today, that ramp is going away. A new, better, and safer ramp has been built at Texas Street. Again, that changeover is expected to happen sometime around noon. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Southern Cancer Center Weather Center.
More wet weather on the way. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. The morning starts off relatively dry, most of us dry, but by mid-morning and into early afternoon, we're looking at lots of showers and thunderstorms. Rain chances 70% with a high in the mid-80s and high humidity. We've got more of this kind of weather in store tomorrow and the next day and the next.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
This morning at 9, Ask the Expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Colossians 3:1, the King James Version. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. The New International Version. Since then you have been raised with Christ, set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Colossians 3:1.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show. And we now have John Sharp of AL.com in the studio. Let me play his custom introduction.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a real newspaper man from AL.com, it's John Sharp.
John Sharp, welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show.
It's great to be back, Uncle Henry. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Your first appearance on television with us.
I feel like a star already.
Well, that would be a misperception.
Okay.
But glad to have you back. How are things at the newspaper?
Everything's fine. We're busy. It's not a lack of things going on. Any number of things. I mean, I got seems like a couple of stories tied up each week that I'm working on. It keeps you on your toes.
Now, people can read the writings of John Sharp in the Press Register and also on AL.com.
Yes.
Explain to us, how is it determined what you're going to write about?
Ahead of time? You never know. The news is unpredictable, as you know.
Right.
So things can take a curve here or there. But I do more of what you call the enterprise type of stories anymore, which are taking some of the issues in the news and kind of expanding upon them. For instance, we have the Senate race going on right now. You're well aware of the special Senate race. Yes. And there's plenty of issues that the candidates need to be talking about or that are out in the national news right now. And so I'm kind of taking a look at some of those issues, and we'll have stories forthcoming on some of them. For instance, there's a lot of interest on where perhaps these candidates stand on the border wall, a prize project of the Trump administration. In each one, interestingly enough, I did interview some of them already, and a lot of the Republican candidates have different views on that. So I'll be writing a story on that, but not. That's part of it right now. That with the Senate race being out in the news, that's something that we're focusing on. But there's other issues as well, and so I kind of sometimes take deep dive looks into some of these items in the news that come up from time to time. We have I've been tracking a lot lately of the OWA Entertainment facility out in Foley that I think's generated a lot of interest in the area. Fairhope City Politics. I just had a story up on AL.com about that. So a lot of different stuff going on, and honestly, there's few of us anymore to cover it, so I kind of have my hands full, and I enjoy it.
Okay. Again, you can find John Sharp at AL.com and in the Press Register. As the hour goes forward, I'm going to pick several of these stories. I've got the long list in front of me of the John Sharp catalog of stories over the past several months, and I'll pick various stories to get you to expound upon. But do you determine what you're going to write about, or do you have somebody that tells you, we want you to write about this?
I largely determine that on myself. Again, there's so much out there.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
To have the freedom to decide you get to write about what you want to write about.
You're exactly right. The creative freedom anymore that I have in this business is it's wonderful, and I enjoy it. I do wish there was more reporters out there now than there like it used to be,
right.
But there isn't, and thus I do have that flexibility.
Okay, more with John Sharp of AL.com when we continue on The Uncle Henry Show.
Been a conservative all my life. I want a senator with the guts to fight liberals and corrupt politicians. A conservative senator like Sessions and a tough outsider like Trump. Well, that's Big Luther Strange. As Attorney General, Big Luther fought Obama to protect our Second Amendment. He led a public corruption prosecution team that convicted a corrupt House Speaker, convicted dozens of corrupt public officials. Big Luther Strange followed Jeff Sessions as our senator, one tough conservative replacing another. Big Luther is working with President Trump to drain the swamp, deporting violent criminal aliens, building a border wall by cutting funds to sanctuary cities, and finally repealing Obamacare. Montgomery insiders don't like Big Luther's conservative record. Heck, politicians and liberals don't like Trump. But we do. Let's stand with a conservative who stands tall for us. That's Big Luther Strange, an Alabama conservative.
I'm Luther Strange, candidate for U.S. Senate. I approve this message.
Paid for and authorized by Strange for Senate.
Mercedes-Benz is a car like no other. We're offering leasing specials to fit any budget, only at Mercedes-Benz and Mobile. If you thought you couldn't afford a Mercedes, think again. Mercedes-Benz and Mobile has your lifestyle and budget in mind. Come and visit our showroom on Dolphin Street or go to mbmobile.com for details. When I say affordable, I really mean it. Only at Mercedes-Benz and Mobile.
Who's ready for a little friendly competition to support local children?
Fuse Project's Dragon Boat Festival presented by Infirmary Health is making its way full speed ahead to USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park on Saturday, June 10th.
With an anticipated crowd of 10,000 people, we invite everyone to join this fun and unforgettable fundraising experience. Don't forget, there's always something wow up our sleeves.
You can donate today to support local programs in our community at fuseproject.org. Paddles up!
For the best home theater design, equipment, and installation, call TSI Alarms and Audio. And we're back. We're back here on the CW55. Thank you to the CW55 for putting the Uncle Henry Show on broadcast television in this experiment. John Sharp is with me from AL.com. We'll be back on the radio in less than 3 minutes. Right now it's me, John Sharp, Ariel, and you, the viewer. Now, John Sharp, you are, before we go back on radio, you have been in our area 4 or 5 years now?
About 5 years.
About
yeah.
5 years. You came from Missouri?
Well, from the Illinois side of the St. Louis area. So it's all within that metropolitan St. Louis area. I've always said I'm from the St. Louis area.
Right.
Most people recognize that. But yeah, I grew up in a small town, about 5,000 residents, a small town called Staunton, Illinois. And I'm trying to compare it to community around here, maybe not much bigger than Loxley. So
okay. What a wonderful comparison. Loxley, always a focal point on this show. We have a lot of listeners in Loxley and viewers in Loxley. Now, you came here, then you fell in love with and married someone here.
That's correct.
You have planted roots here.
Yes, sir.
Your roots are here. Now, do you anticipate being here for many years to come? Or in your profession, you never know?
Well, in any profession anymore, you don't know. But yeah, I do anticipate being here for many years to come. My wife just recently completed a master's degree in educational counseling, and she wants to move into school counseling. She's been a teacher for a while, and she wants to remain within the school system that she's in Baldwin County. Very large school system, by the way, and a lot of opportunities there. So, you know, we're kind of excited about that, and our daughter is approaching her second birthday, and you know, we have a wonderful daycare that we send her to, and it's been great. And you know, my wife's family is pretty much from the Gulf Shores area, so we have that connection as well, and that's great. And my family likes coming down here to vacation, so that's great. So it all kind of works out pretty well.
So your family loves that you live near beaches.
Yeah, especially I've seen my brother and his family down here. They come down here every year. I have a cousin who, she'll come down here for vacation. She's actually due, her family's, I think, staying in Pensacola Beach in a couple of weeks. They're coming down. So, and then we'll vacation up there in a couple of weeks around Father's Day weekend. And so, you know, it's not the best situation sometimes because of the mileage, but it works. We make it work.
Okay. We're about to go back to radio with John Sharp of AL.com. So stand by on radio in 10 seconds.
Meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Back here on the Uncle Henry Show with John Sharp of AL.com. John Sharp hadn't been on the show in a while, so I've got a lot of things to ask John Sharp about. Let me ask you first about one of the more provocative headlines. And I know, now, do you write your headlines? Somebody writes your headlines for you?
I will propose a headline, and then I'll have some assistance in trying to refine it, yes.
Okay. This headline.
Yeah.
And you probably know the one I'm going to mention.
Uh-huh.
This headline, what is wrong with Fairhope? ? So, and I know this is a big topic, so we'll have to kind of do some shorthand on this. But you, in just a couple of days ago, tried to give people an understanding of what is going on in Fairhope in Baldwin County. And some of you watching in Florida may not know a lot about Fairhope, but is it the fastest growing city of its size in Alabama or something like that?
Yeah, we ran a ranking not too long ago, and it had it number 1, just from the recently released census figures. So
okay, so it's a town that has a lot of natural beauty. It's on the bay, highly desirable place to live. What is wrong with Fairhope?
Well, right now it's the local government. It seems like if you talk to folks over there, they claim it's not broken, and that's correct. It's not, but there has been for 6 months a completely new faces on the city council, a brand new mayor, and there's been a lot of growing pains. And it almost gotten to the point where almost every meeting there was some sort of drama or some sort of controversy or some sort of conflict. And it mostly stemmed from the mayor versus the city council. The city council, there's 5 men, and the mayor, brand new mayor, is a woman. And that dynamic sometime, and it's not necessarily man versus woman, it's just kind of a dynamic there that just hasn't meshed well. It's very political, and it has a lot to do right now with the growth in the community and how to address it. And you have a new mayor who has a lot of ideas, and she's trying to roll them out immediately, and there's been pushback. The mayor's supporters will say that, well, that's the old guard trying to push back against all these new ideas and new proposals. But the city council will come back and say, well, wait a minute here, this is almost way too much, too many big items, trying to reform everything in town right off the bat when, we're Fairhope. We're really, our problems here, other communities would just love to have them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so it's been a push, a tug and pull for the 6 months that these new political figures are in there. And keep in mind, Fairhope, prior to Karen Wilson becoming the mayor, winning the election in August over the incumbent Tim Kant, before that, for decades, there had been 2 mayors.
Right.
And that's it. And the transfer of power back in 2000 from Nix to Kant was seamless. So you haven't had any.
It was almost a continuation of the Nix administration in many ways, because Kant was a disciple of Nix,
right?
An employee of Nix, and so this is, I guess, a conflict between new residents. Is it new residents versus old residents, or is that too simplistic?
That might be a little simplistic, because there's some older residents in town that really want to see some change,
right?
And they support Mayor Wilson, who's been there in the community for many years. She owns a business that's
right there in the
well established. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so can things get better with some experience? With just you mentioned that a lot of these people are new in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Once they've got a year under their belt, do you think they may get along better? Is there a possibility of just changing the way they deal with each other?
Well, one would hope so, for the sake of Fairhope, because you want to see a functioning government that moves a community that a lot of people in that town really like and in love and embrace. I sometimes compare it with Mobile. Remember when Sandy Stimson first took over as mayor? There was a lot of growing pains between him and the city council, and some of it was, the council deserved its blame, but the mayor also was new to the office, and there was some things he was trying to do right off the bat that was rubbing some of the established council members the wrong way. And then it all culminated in the mayor getting up and his administration walking out of a meeting about 6 months in to his tenure. And we had the same situation occur in Fairhope with the budget. Mayor Wilson just left the meeting before the council had a chance to vote on a budget, in which they received the mayor's budget, and then they amended a lot of it and took out a lot of things that she wanted, including a brand new economic development department. They took it out, and it did not set well with the mayor, and she walked out of the meeting. And so there's some similarities there. The mayor did extend an olive branch to some of the council members. They had lunch a couple weeks ago. She had individual lunches with some of the council members, not as a group, but individually. And in the last meeting that I attended in May, things seem to be going in a better direction. But some news has surfaced lately in which, there's some claims of a claim that was filed with the city clerk's office of the mayor getting physical with
former employee.
A former employee. Well, no, actually a current employee, and some former employees, also another former employee filing a claim objecting to the way she was dismissed. So a lot of political back and forth and ugliness in Fairhope these days that I think the folks there would like to see it move in a different direction.
We look forward to a calmer future there. All right, we have many other things to talk to John Sharp about. John Sharp of AL.com. Back on radio and TV in just a few moments. Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. U.S. stock index futures are a little change to mixed, while oil edges higher. NYMEX crude is up 6 cents at $48.36 a barrel. Today we're watching for some job market indicators, including a private firm's monthly snapshot of corporate layoff announcements. We get ADP's look at private payroll growth for May and the weekly jobless claims numbers. Yesterday on Wall Street, a little change to lower session with the Dow down 21 points, or 0.1% and closing at 21,009. The S&P fell a point to 2412, and the NASDAQ was down 5 points to 6199. President Donald Trump faces some unlikely opposition to the idea of pulling the U.S. out of the 2015 Paris Climate Accord. ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, two of the world's biggest oil producers. Both companies reiterated their support for the global agreement to cut greenhouse gas pollution amid reports that Trump planned to ditch a pact he says hurts the U.S. economy. Their argument is that the U.S. is better off with a seat at the table. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Here with Ron of Mobile Bay Coins. Ron, if I'm going to sell a coin or jewelry, what's the best piece of advice you can give me?
Would be shop it around, get multiple offers, make sure you get the most for your item, for your buck. Same thing when you're buying, shop around what people are selling that item for, whether it's gold, silver, estate jewelry items. Make sure you're not paying too much for an item. The thing that sickens me the most is when an estate comes in and we find out that somebody paid sometimes 100 times too much what they could have got the same item for, or they were sold items with great packaging and great boxes, but the items contained therein were worth almost nothing. So shop it around, be smart about it, and come by Mobile Bay Coins. We can make recommendations based on the items you have, your avenues available to you.
So if I understand you correctly, the best piece of advice is shop it around.
Shop it around.
Shop it around. Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown Mobile. Look for them on Facebook. You'll also find them online at mobilebaycoins.com.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the main.
We're back. We're back here on the Uncle Henry Show. We're in a radio break. Radio listeners hearing traffic, weather, news from Fox, news from WKRG. We'll be back on the radio here in just a few minutes. Right now, it's me and you and Ariel and John Sharp of AL.com. What is your Twitter handle?
At John Sharp 99.
At John Sharp 99. And John and Sharp are spelled the way you would think they would be spelled. There's no weird spellings. No Illinois spelling. It's John Sharp 99 on Twitter. Now, I want to ask you a little bit, while we're not on radio, questions about working for the newspaper and AL.com. I got a chance to interview one of the top people at AL.com several years ago. This would have been 3 or 4 years ago. One of the top people in your organization. And they took phone calls from people. And it was one of the strangest things was that people didn't call in and ask about news stories, and they didn't call in and ask about the opinion pieces. They called in and asked about comic strips and puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what, when you're out in the community and people find out where you work, is that the type of stuff they talk to you about?
Not really, no, because they know what I do for the newspaper.
Right.
They know I'm a reporter, and they want to. They'd like to talk about what I write about.
Okay. Well, good for you then,
yeah,
because I thought it was so strange when I had the guy from AL.com and the newspaper on. People didn't want to talk about news. They wanted to talk about comic strips, puzzles, delivery whether
Right.
they were getting it enough or whether they didn't want the ads thrown, all that kind of stuff. So you
Yeah.
mainly hear about what you write about.
Right, I do hear about the ads. Again, I have nothing to do with that. That's out of my hands, and I can't. I mean, I'm like any other.
Right.
I get the ads thrown in my yard too. So,
Okay.
you know. But yeah, no, they mostly want to talk about what I write about, and that's that's in my wheelhouse. I take full responsibility. So,
Do you ever get good suggestions for stories from readers?
I do from time to time, yeah. And I certainly it plants a nugget in my head, and I'll follow through with it. Again, I mean, there's a lot out there to cover.
Sure there is.
And you got to kind of whittle it down to see what's really out there in the news. Sometimes I make a good call, sometimes I don't. I just sometimes something will strike me that I read either in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, and maybe I want to apply that locally to something going on in South Alabama or in the state as a whole. I'll follow through with that.
Now, the upcoming race for the United States Senate in Alabama, is it challenging for you to cover because there's so many candidates?
Yeah, you do your best. I mean, I reach out to them all. I got their contacts. And yes, that is a little bit of a challenge. It's not something you can just, if you're going to do a story about an issue, you just can't throw that together in one day. I mean, to be
Right.
fair to the candidates, you got to give them a couple days. And that's what I do.
Is it 18 people, 17 people?
19.
19.
Yeah.
So you write about an issue, and you quote 7 of them, which is a lot of work in and of itself.
Right.
The other ones are mad that you didn't quote them.
Well, you gotta kind of, for instance, my focus right now is on how the GOP views the border wall. So you
Right.
whittle it down to what, 11 or how many there are on the GOP side of things. So, and then it'll be interesting to see. I got to kind of iron that one out a little bit.
I haven't
so.
figured it on my end. People will want to hear, and if I try to interview all of those people, it will likely destroy a month of on air
Yeah.
trying to fit in all of these interviews.
There
with
are
people.
some interesting candidates who haven't got much airtime yet that I've talked to that I think will be interesting. But the problem is the money. Do they have the money to make their voices heard? And that's a big question. There are some interesting ones on the Republican side I've talked to, and it'll be interesting to see how they move forward in this campaign, because the names: the Luther Strange, the Mo Brooks, the Trip Pittmans, and
Roy Moore.
Roy Moore. Yeah, those are probably the big 4 there, and you also have Randy Brinson, who's trying to make a splash down here. So we'll see.
And there are already people trying to get attention in their run for governor. Even though that's very early, it's still far away. There are still people out there trying to get the attention as they want to mount a campaign for governor.
Some have written a book about it too.
Yes, they have.
But it is a little bit strategy involved here, because the governor put this special election out for the Senate position. So now it's kind of like, where do you announce that you're going to run for governor? If you're wanting to run for governor, you wait, because all the attention's on the special Senate election right now. So it'll be interesting to see how they, some of these folks surface. I talked to Senator Bill Hightower. He's weighing a potential run, and but it's right now. I mean, talking to him, he admits that right now the focus is on that Senate election.
Okay, we're about to go back to radio here with John Sharp of AL.com. You can find all of his writings on AL.com. In fact, if you go to one of his stories, he's on there with a red snapper story from yesterday, and you just click on his name, and it will take you to a page that lists all of his stories conveniently. All right, stand by. We now go back to radio.
10 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. John Sharp is here from AL.com. I saw that your latest story is Luther Strange communicating to President Trump about red snapper season. Tell us, Is the president actually hearing from Luther Strange?
This is going to be an interesting thing to watch today, because today, tomorrow, and Saturday, because there's only 3 days of the recreational red snapper fishing out in federal waters beyond a 9-mile boundary that is controlled otherwise by the state. It's a complicated issue, but for those that are recreational fishing enthusiasts, they're really passionate about this issue, and there's a lot of them, especially that are down in Orange Beach and Gulf Shores today. And the weather this weekend is going to be an interesting factor. You know, will that lend itself to 3 days of being able to enjoy this mad rush of fishing out in federal waters? But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch and see if anything comes out of the White House. This is an issue that I wrote about a little while ago when Orange Beach was bringing this up. They had a special city council meeting in which they voted on, recommending or demanding that, there be some sort of intervention put into place to extend the red snapper season. 3 days is the shortest ever. It is determined by NOAA, the National Fisheries Service, which is administered through NOAA, which is underneath the purview of the Commerce Secretary. So a lot of federal layers there involved in determining this Gulf fishing season.
So Luther Strange is saying that he's going to try to communicate to the president.
Yeah.
And I know that Bradley Byrne has talked about it.
Yeah.
Since he's been in office as being an issue. It makes you wonder if there's anything that our representatives to the federal government can actually do on the issue.
Well, right now there isn't. The only person that can do anything is the president. He could sign an executive order today and say, I'm going to extend this season out 40 some odd days. But the question is whether or not that's even, the president's got a lot on the plate, as we see every day. And is that even something that's on his radar? But when you look at the issue, you would think this would fall right in play. This is something that President Trump campaigned about: less federal regulations, questions about science, going and so on and so forth. That he would, and this is an area that came out and supported him tremendously in the election. So you would think this would be the type of issue that,
right,
he would sign off with no issue, with no problem. But whether or not it's even on his radar is the question.
Well, that's the thing. He's got so much else going on that I'm sure is more important than red snapper fishing, that it's hard to imagine that getting his attention with all that's going on right now.
Well, and we look at it from an Alabama prism, but there's 5 states involved as well, Gulf states. And I think there's been lawmakers from all of them that have weighed in on this issue. So
we're here with John Sharp of AL.com on the Uncle Henry Show with more to come.
Saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Porsche Traffic Center.
This is the day that the Water Street on-ramp to eastbound I-10 shovels off into the history books, and for lots of drivers, it's not a moment too soon. It's always been a very unsafe ramp, a very short ramp that has a big curve and comes up into a ton of traffic, all trying to get to the tunnel. So beginning around noon today, and that's an approximate time, that ramp will be closed. There's a new, safer ramp that's been built about a mile back at Texas Street. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at unbound.org.
First Alert Weather from WKRG News 5 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
More wet weather on the way. I'm meteorologist John Nodar with the News 5 First Alert Storm Team. The morning starts off relatively dry, most of us dry, but by mid-morning and into early afternoon, we're looking at lots of showers and thunderstorms. Rain chances 70% with a high in the mid-80s and high humidity. We've got more of this kind of weather in store tomorrow and the next day and the next.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. Every child is born with talents, hopes, and dreams, but poverty will steal those dreams. You can help a child find hope when you become their sponsor with Compassion International. Give a child a chance to dream again. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Proverbs 25:28, the King James Version. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. The New International Version, like a city whose walls are broken down is a man who lacks self-control. Proverbs 25:28.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Or for those watching, keep in mind you can always watch video on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page or on the Uncle Henry YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the Uncle Henry YouTube channel. If you want to go back and look at John Sharp and study his body language, his facial expressions, you can do so there on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. Now, I've got an email that wants me to ask you a question, John Sharp, so let me go into the email inbox. Subject line on the email is Roll Tide Unc. Email reads, good morning to y'all. Ask Mr. Sharp what is his impression of the Big Luther commercial. And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley. So you're going to be writing a lot about the Senate race. Do you have anything that you can say about the Big Luther campaign commercial?
Other than be prepared for more, because he's well-financed going forward, probably by far the most well-financed candidate in this race. So be prepared for. He got endorsed by the NRA, so we had a commercial rolled out, shooting guns,
right,
doing everything that you would,
yes,
to curry favor from the those that are supporters of the NRA. But he has the money to do so, and where the other candidates don't. So if that doesn't bother you, if a candidate with plenty of money to run any kind of campaign he wants doesn't bother you, then it's not going to be an issue. But if it does, and you're questioning the truthfulness of some of these commercials, and you're not, they seem to be slick and making you feel a little uneasy, then there's other candidates. You need to find other sources of information to learn about them, and it's incumbent on the voter to do that, I suppose. There's a lot of candidates out there. There are some interesting ones. Some of them will be visiting Mobile. We had Randy Brinson in town, and he gave an interesting speech down at Cooper Riverside Park the other day, kind of introducing himself. So there are candidates out there that might fit your fancy more.
Now, in some parts of the country, there are people actually running against Donald Trump for different offices, positioning themselves as a vote in Congress against Donald Trump. No one could succeed here doing that, could they? Alabama is overwhelmingly Trump-oriented, right?
Exactly. It's going to be, and I did this story already, talking to some of the candidates running about how they view Donald Trump, because you have in other more swing states in the country where you have some Republicans trying to separate themselves from the president. In Alabama, yes, there are a few GOP candidates that have, they're not all 100% behind every proposal Trump supports, and perhaps that's with every candidate. There might be one or two issues out there that, they're not going to be Donald Trump part 2, but they certainly support the president. You're not going to hear a lot of anti-Trump messaging on the campaign trail, not in Alabama, where they came out in historic numbers to support the president.
You're listening to John Sharp of AL.com. Talk some more with John Sharp in the next segment of the show. Stick with us.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Come Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Stringfellow Equipment Company in Lucedale and get more tractor.
Take care of your skin. See Dr. Thomas Bender at Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. Dr. Bender sees patients in Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. Find out more online at advanceddermclinic.com.
MSNBC's Morning Joe speaks truth to power.
Here's a message to the White House. You keep lying, we're going to keep reporting.
With access to the people who matter, from the Senate floor to the Oval Office. Morning Joe, weekdays 6 to 9 Eastern on MSNBC.
At Mercedes-Benz Mobile, servicing the customer always comes first. If your Mercedes is in need of repair or general maintenance, come see us at our state-of-the-art service center on Dolphin Street. Our highly certified auto technicians are equipped with the latest tools and technologies to take care of your Mercedes or any other luxury vehicle, including Lexus, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar. Give your car a little TLC and visit our service center at 3060 Dolphin Street today. Mercedes-Benz Mobile, doing our part to keep you moving forward.
Hi, I'm Chris Morgan, GM of your Bay Bears, inviting you to come out to Hank Aaron Stadium for another great season of Bay Bears baseball. Here's what's happening this week.
Mobile Bay Bears begin their homestand against the Pensacola Blue Wahoos Sunday, June 4th. Gates open at 4, first pitch at 5:05. It's Sunday Fun Day. Bark in the Park, presented by Raising Cane's.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. Thank you for watching on the CW55. And I want to remind you that the NAPI Awards voting starts today. You can vote for this show in the media categories by going to votenappies.com. Votenappies.com. If you're a fan of the show, please go there and vote. If you don't like the show, just think more about it before you go vote. Ponder it. Maybe there are other things you've got to do. All right, John Sharp is here, avail.com. In the last segment of the program, we were talking, John Sharp, about, somebody asked you about the Luther Strange ad, and you said there are more on the way. And we talked about the Senate race. Have you, you weren't here for Jim Folsom Jr. You just got here 5 years ago, so you weren't here when Jim Folsom Jr. ran. I'd like to play you a brief excerpt of my favorite campaign commercial of all time. Because you were talking about Luther Strange getting endorsed by the NRA and lots of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this brief excerpt. This is about 10 seconds from a Jim Folsom commercial. I believe he was running for lieutenant governor. I don't know if it was governor or lieutenant governor.
I have 2 great kids, 3 dogs, and 4 shotguns. I go to church every Sunday and never have played tennis at the Mountain Brook Club. I'd rather be hunting.
All right. That, to me, that's the ultimate. That is the ultimate Alabama political ad where you count children, dogs, shotguns. You disavow tennis and talk about hunting and going to church.
Well, the one I've seen is Dale Peterson. That's the most recent one, and that's the one that's kind of gone viral over the years.
Yes, well, Dale Peterson was at a different level.
Right.
That was not this. The Folsom thing was trying to be very authentically Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Dale Peterson was almost like Roy Rogers or Gene Autry had moved to Alabama, and become a singing cowboy or something like that here. All right, we're going to be back on the radio in less than a minute. What are you going to be writing about? What can we look forward to from you today or tomorrow?
Well, I'm going to do an update on some of Walmart's investments in Alabama and kind of give a little bit of an update on the big project, the distribution center that's being built in West Mobile area. Just a brief update. They're going to be looking at doing some hiring of some professional opportunities there shortly. And then I'm going to be doing, again, I'm looking at that a piece on the Senate race. And I'm going to be doing a profile here shortly on our state senator down here, Trip Pittman. He's the only one from coastal Alabama who's running for U.S. Senate. And we'll see.
Stand by, John Sharp. We're going back to radio.
UNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. John Sharp is here from AL.com. Now, you write a lot about the growth going on in Baldwin County. I'm going to guess that the biggest theme for Baldwin County News in the last several years is growth and how to deal with growth in Baldwin County. And you've been writing a lot about the Porch Band of Creek Indians, their investment in Foley with this amusement park. So when is the amusement park going to open?
Well, supposedly mid-July, but we were anticipating a update this week on the actual amusement park portion of the development. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of questionable weather lately, a lot of rain.
That is true,
and
yes.
and that stunts a lot of the aggressive construction that's been going on out there. I've been out there a couple times, and there are a lot of people, a lot of construction crews working on different elements out there. It's a pretty remarkable sight, to be quite honest with you. It's like, wow. I mean, you know, it's a different. I can't tell you how many people are out there working. But mid-July is what they're targeting. That could get adjusted. I don't know that for a fact. But, we were supposed to get an update this week on the amusement park side of things, but they're not prepared to provide an update. And that update would essentially be the opening date and the admission price. Two things I think that are very important to know.
Right.
We're, less than a month and a half away from opening.
Okay, so what can we reasonably expect in terms of the experience at this amusement park? Is this going to be, because we've heard that this roller coaster is going to be one of the biggest in the country or most modern in the country?
Yeah, I think most modern and lengthwise, it's going to be a long roller coaster.
Okay.
It's not a high roller coaster. It's not like something you see at Six Flags that goes way up in the air and down. I mean, there is some height to it, but it's not a structure you see from miles and miles away.
Right.
But it is a long roller coaster, and there are some loops involved, and it looks like quite a thrill ride, I suppose. But it is right now the only roller coaster at the site. There are other rides there that are they look really slick and interesting, and a family would probably be hard pressed not to have a good time at this place.
Okay, so this is going to be a destination where you think this is going to attract people not just from Mobile County, Baldwin County, the counties in Florida, but this is going to attract people from a little bit further away?
Well, it's going to give options. It's going to give an alternative options to families that are going to the beaches. I mean, you spend a couple days
Right.
at the beach, your kids are sunburnt, you need somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
Something else to do. And right now, Gulf Shores have a water park there,
Right.
and they have a couple go-kart park and a couple of mini golf courses. But there is no amusement park like this, and really in the Gulf Coast area. So this would be essentially a destination for folks coming to Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, something else to do. Also, it's a kind of a location that's going to piggyback off of the sports tourism going on in Foley right now. There's 16 soccer fields out there that have been newly built. There's going to be a new indoor facility built there. I did an update on AL.com about that facility that's under construction right now. It's about a $15.3 million project. So there's a lot of investment going on out there that OWA would piggyback, or coordinate with the city of Foley and draw more families to their entertainment facility from those particular developments.
So we've got the natural beach tourism that's been there for our lifetimes, for those of us that have lived here. Then you've got the new tourism that may come with the amusement park. You just mentioned big investments in sports tourism for people to play tournaments and things like that.
Right.
So does Foley and South Baldwin County have the infrastructure to handle all of the people coming?
And that's the good question. That's a big question right now. We do have the Beach Express, which I think would be utilized much more as the alternative route to 59 for folks traveling down to the Gulf Coast. And the Baldwin Beach Express, which turns into the Foley Beach Express, goes right by OWA. I think that would be utilized much more. There's been a couple of additional roads built out by this facility that would take traffic to and from it, but it's to be determined. If you got a huge amount of traffic influx going to OWA, there might be, there's probably going to be a bigger demand for an alternative bypass or another road out there. But again, that's to be determined. If this OWA facility builds up and becomes like Six Flags or a mini Disney World or something along those lines. Yeah, that's something that's going to have to be addressed.
Are you a roller coaster person?
I'm probably going to have to be in the future, I would imagine, with a young daughter. But I was when I was younger. I haven't been in quite some time, no.
Okay. Ariel, are you a roller coaster person? No, you're not. All right, that is a shock. Come on, or Ariel, join us here briefly. We've got just a couple of minutes left here in the hour. So, Ariel, you seem to be somebody willing to go on adventures and try new things, but you're not a roller coaster person?
I used to be a roller coaster person, and then the Greater Gulf State Fair had this ride. I think it's called the Kamikaze, and it shocked me into never wanting to be that high up in the air and coming down very fast ever again.
Wow.
It was awful. People
Okay.
still ride it every year, but for me, that was, whew.
Okay.
I could kind of feel some of Ariel's pain. I went on, my wife and I went on a Ferris wheel ride at the Baldwin County Fair a couple of years ago, and it scared me to death. It just felt like the whole thing was about ready to rock and fall over. And I thought, well, I don't know. That's about, and that's a Ferris wheel ride. That shows you how thrill rides I am anymore.
All right.
I got to get with the program, I know.
Right. Well, and I've got chiropractic issues. I just am worried that my joints won't operate properly if I go into any of these rides. But for the young, what an excitement that they have something like that coming to Baldwin County. All right. Well, John Sharp will look forward to more of these stories. AL.com. Again, if you go to AL.com and find a story by John Sharp, you can just click on his name and it will take you to a page that has all of his recent stories. We've barely scratched the surface with John Sharp. Again, that's available at AL.com. And you can even read the writings of John Sharp in the Press Register when it is printed and sometimes thrown at buildings in our area. Thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for watching The Uncle Henry Show.
There's two ways you can be a VIP